94 FM now presents Back to Health, brought to you by Gardner Chiropractic and Neurology. Your health is in good hands. And Apex Radiology, the clear choice for all your diagnostic needs. In a moment, Dr. Neil Gardner and Mrs. G.
Your health deserves the very best care, and at Apex Radiology, we deliver just that. From MRIs, mammograms, and CT scans to interventional studies, nuclear medicine, and much more. We're here to give you accurate answers with compassion. Whatever the test, Apex Radiology makes the process simple, professional, and comfortable. Take charge of your health today. Call us at 876-929-APEX to book your appointment. Apex Radiology, the clear choice for your diagnostic needs.
Be sure to listen to the inspired preaching of Apostle Jeffrey Johnson on Showers of Pentecost every Tuesday night at 10:30 on the Big 94. The program comes to you from the Apostolic Ark, 27 Huntley Avenue, Brownstown, St. Anne. Showers of Pentecost.
And now let's join Dr. Neil Gardner and Mrs. G. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir Donovan. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, Mrs. G. Good evening, Donovan.
Good evening, Doc.
And good evening to all of our friends, wherever you're joining us from.
Yes, good evening to
you.
you.
Happened to come across us today.
Indeed, indeed.
So, wow, Mrs. G, it is raining very heavily here in the land of Jamaica. Not physical rain, but lots of illnesses and people passing away. And
yes.
you know, even myself, I'm a little bit under the weather, and I have to now start to really consider taking care of myself a little bit better than I have been. Donovan, boy,
Sir.
Lots of sick people going around the place, man.
It's happening again.
I tell you.
All right, so what do you have lined up for us this evening, Doc? March 10, 2026 is the anniversary of the first case of COVID from 2020, Doc. You may recall.
Yeah, but that was a Wednesday, right? Yes, it was a Wednesday. Because it was the last show that we had was the last show that we had before that.
We had a leap year in there, so
everything.
it actually resembles that exact calendar inside there, Doc. Sunday it was March 8 and Tuesday was March 10.
What?
You're still thinking about it.
No.
All right, what do we have lined up for us this evening? What's the
March
topic?
10th was a Wednesday during the COVID time.
All right.
I don't know. I'm lost. My brain isn't working very fast, Mrs. G. So don't ask tough questions tonight. And if you have any guests that have any tough questions, tell them not to ask it this weekend.
No tough questions today, folks. What's the topic?
The topic is sensory neuropathy. Sensory neuropathy.
All right. And the fact of the day?
Persons with sensory neuropathy may have reduced pain sensations. They may have reduced pain sensations. So I have a question. I'd like to point this question toward Donovan. Donovan,
Yep.
do you want me to ask you this question?
Go right ahead.
All right. Is it a good thing or a bad thing for us not to be able to feel pain?
My answer, I think it's a good thing.
I like how you think. You want to be comfortable, right?
Yes.
That makes sense. But I'll give you something very interesting, is that when persons are not able to feel pain, their risk of dying increases.
Interesting. So
Imagine that. Your risk of dying increases if you're not able to feel pain. So there are certain conditions that actually impact one's ability to feel the sensations that we call pain. And these conditions, if you have it, one of the things that you'll notice is people injuring themselves and not knowing, or doing things that are very risky and not realize that it's risky because there's no warning to let them know that this is not something I should continue doing. Some persons might be might be cooking, and they have the pots on the fire, and the pot is on there's a pot in front of them on the burner, and then there's a pot behind them or beyond that pot, and they're reaching over the hot pot to reach to something on the back of the burner, and may end up burning themselves because they can't feel it. They don't realize that they're damaging themselves. So people who are not able to feel pain actually have a higher risk of death.
All
So
right.
we
So
want to
what
be able to
is-
make sure we're able to feel it.
and so that is sensory neuropathy.
sensory neuropathy now
Uh-huh.
is, as the word suggests, sensory sensations, and we know that generally in school we learn that we have 5 senses, Mrs. G:
Mm-hmm.
hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling. Well, of these senses, if you're not able to feel any of them, then we call those a problem with your sensations. And the nerves that control them are your sensory nerves.
Okay.
But the technical term for sensory nerves is sensory neurons. And so if you have a problem with these nerves, we call it neuropathy, sensory neuropathy. You're not able to feel what you're supposed to feel. And so there are certain symptoms that go along with this. So we can talk a little bit about that as we're going along. One of those symptoms is numbness and tingling. Persons are not able to feel something, then they normally will express that lack of feeling as being, my hand feel numb. So if you can't feel proper sensations, oftentimes the way you describe that is that you have numbness. Or, if you're walking and you can't feel your feet properly, you may say you feel like you have on socks. Or it feels like mud is stuck to the bottom of your foot. I don't know if you've ever had, like, you step in mud or something, Mrs. J, and you try to walk, but then underneath your foot bottom, because the mud is covering it, you can't really feel the floor because the mud is covering it. And so that kind of feeling is what people will feel when they have numbness or lack of sensation. Another way that I've heard it described, Mrs. G, is persons will say that their foot feels slippery. When they're walking, their foot feels slippery, or their hands feel slippery. So they can't hold things, and things might slip out of their hands easily because they can't quite feel it. These are all symptoms of sensory neuropathy, a sensation change. Pain is also an issue with sensory neuropathy. So sometimes you may have pain, and that pain may result in us not being able to process appropriately what we are experiencing. And so pain is something that we try to, we don't want to run away from it, but we want to manage it appropriately, because pain guides us and tells us when something is wrong and we need to make changes in our lives to adjust for it. Another situation, Mrs. G, that we call, that falls under the term sensory neuropathy, is a reduction in the sensitivity to touch. Gentle touch. So if somebody touches you and you can't feel it, it's like if you have on thick clothing and somebody touches you over the thick clothing, you might not be able to feel that touch if it's gentle enough. And it's something similar when we're talking about persons who are experiencing this condition. They're not able to feel delicate or soft touch or light touch very well. So this is something that affects their sensitivity to touch. Balance is also something that's impacted when we're talking about sensory changes or sensations. If you can't feel the ground properly if you're standing up, then you may end up having a problem with maintaining your balance. And so balance issues is also a symptom of sensory neuropathy. And one of the last things is reflexes.
Okay.
If you are not able to maintain appropriate reflexes, then this is something that can be problematic. The question is, what's the importance of reflexes?
Or what is it?
Or what is a reflex? So by reflex, we mean something happens as a direct reaction to something else, a stimulation. So if you step on a nail and it juke in your foot bottom and you pull back your foot, sometimes even before you feel the pain, this is what we call a reflex. The withdrawing of your foot immediately after you step on the nail is an example of a reflex. In other words, you don't have to think about it, it just happens automatically. And the importance of reflexes is that it allows our bodies to react to situations as quickly as possible before injury or mishap may get worse. And so it's very important that we are maintaining good reflexes, because if our reflexes are not good, we can end up in problems.
All right. So persons who should be listening tonight?
Anybody that has any sensations.
That means everybody?
Yes, everybody should be listening.
Okay.
So once it is that you have, especially if you are noticing that you may be experiencing numbness or tingling, especially in your hands or feet, anywhere like that, pain, sensitivity to touch, balance issues, reflex issues, these are the people who we want to be just kind of tuning in right now, because we want to make sure that you understand what it is that's going on and how we can address these issues for you and hopefully help you to overcome them. Sensory neuropathy.
Okay, and start sending in your WhatsApp messages early, 876-553-5908. That's 876-553-5908. That's if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, having these signs and symptoms that Dr. Gardner is sharing with us this evening. Doc, what? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so just to say, we've discussed things that are very similar to what we're discussing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But we discussed it in terms of, I don't know if you remember, we talked about peripheral neuropathy. And peripheral neuropathy is what we usually term the nerves in our periphery, that's the nerves in our arms, hands, fingers, toes, feet, that give problems. Now, if you have a disc herniation or disc bulge that's compressing a nerve, then these compressed nerves can have a problem. We call it neuropathy. And if it happens to the nerves in our bodies, then we call it as a peripheral neuropathy. When we're talking about sensory neuropathy, it is a special class of peripheral neuropathy, because your peripheral nerves can be either a motor nerve, a sensory nerve, or an autonomic nerve. An autonomic nerve is the nerves that control blood vessels, organs, and glands. The sensations are the ones controlled by the sensory nerves, and the motor nerves control muscle activity. Those are your peripheral nerves. But of your peripheral nerves, the ones that we're discussing now are the ones of the sensory type, the ones that carry sensations. So yes, they're in their periphery, but these are the ones only for sensation. So we're not talking about the nerves that control muscles.
Okay.
We're not talking about nerves that control blood vessels, organs, and glands. We're talking about the nerves that control sensations.
All right. Special hello to those who have joined us via Facebook. I'm seeing Sir Gordon, I'm seeing Lady Rose, Cynthia, Lady Dawn, Lady Elise, and let me see, Willis and others. There they went to Back to Health talk show on Facebook, and they're able to see us live here in the studio. We're discussing sensory neuropathy this evening on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. When we come back from the break, we'll share our telephone numbers and share again the WhatsApp number so that you may join in our discussion this evening. So please stay tuned.
Ready to bring about real change in your life and make an impact in your community? Walden University supports busy working adults with flexible online learning formats to help you manage the work-life balance no matter where you are. Walden even offers special tuition discounts designed to help you achieve your goals and gain skills to become a leader. Walden University. Set a course for change.
Be sure to listen to the inspired preaching of Apostle Jeffrey Johnson on Showers of Pentecost every Tuesday night at 10:30 on the Big 94. The program comes to you from the Apostolic Ark, 27 Huntley Avenue, Brownstown, St. Anne. Showers of Pentecost.
Passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Welcome back, listeners, to Back to Health. Welcome back, listeners, to Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. I'm your co-host, Carolyn Gardner. This evening we're discussing sensory neuropathy. That's sensory neuropathy. I'd like to go ahead and share our telephone numbers with you so that you may call and join in our discussion this evening. That's 876-926-8631, 876-926-2178, or 876-926-7615. Our WhatsApp number is 876-553-5908. That's 876-553-5908. And a special hello to Lady Marcia. And as you're indicating here, another useful topic for Lady Marcia over there in McIntyre Villa. All right. So Charmaine over in Tampa Doc is saying she's happy that you have touched on this topic, and that she's a certified nursing assistant. And when I give one of my patients his bath, even with the gentle touch of his feet, just to pick them up, to clean them, he would cry, and he cries for terrible pain, and he said it's neuropathy. I know a past co-worker who had the same neuropathy. However, she has no feeling in her feet. So different people experience different symptoms.
Right. So you have situations where nerves go through different phases of degeneration. And the phases go from normal to diminished to hypersensitive to absent. So normal to diminished to hypersensitive to absent. So obviously I don't have to say what normal is, but diminished is where the sensations are reduced. So if I compress a nerve, then over time that nerve will carry signal that is less than what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But as the nerve starts to die, it becomes excitable. And so eventually, over time, instead of this diminished sensation, it's a heightened sensation that one will feel. And the example is when people who have arthritis for years, they may end up with pain when the weather changes. So their nerves become so sensitive that they can even detect the barometric pressure changes in the atmosphere in their joints.
Mm.
And then eventually the nerves carry no more signal.
Wow. Serious issue. There is someone on the line. Good evening. You're on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's the name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ainsley from Portmore.
Did you say Ainsley or Ainsworth?
Ainsley.
Ainsley. Hi,
Welcome
Ainsley
to the
from
program.
Welcome.
So, Doctor, I did the male executive profile, and my doctor told me I was pre-diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic, but came to her, I told her that I was having tinglings in my hands and feet, both feet. Just came up all of a sudden, and now she put me on Nervigen P, which I've been taking for months. But now I find that the condition is getting worse to the extent that when I wake up in the morning, it's like both hands and feet is like fire. It's like fire in them, and so unbearable. So at times, sometimes it makes me feel uncomfortable. But when I do take the pill, it eases. I'm not sure what's happening, but to me, it's getting worse, even though I'm on the medication.
So they say you're pre-diabetic.
Yes.
And both hands and feet they started about the same time?
No, it started in the hands first, and then it related to the
No,
feet.
I mean okay, when he said both hands, the two hand
It
them start
started
together?
started it actually started in I think it was the right hand, and then it started now in the left hand, and then I felt it started coming down the right foot, and then now but now as it's now before I have not taken the medication as it,
Uh-huh.
but I feel in this tingling and this sensation of heat in both hands and both feet.
All right, I need to
Yes.
ask you a few questions just to kind of make sure I understand your situation so I can probably give you a little bit of direction, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, when it started in your hands, can you describe exactly where in your hands you're calling your hands?
The entire hand,
From
from
where to
the
where you call hand?
shoulder to the fingers.
Okay, so from your shoulder to your fingers, and it
Yes.
started on the right side first,
Yes.
and now it's on the left side from the shoulder to your finger.
Right. So it's not actually from the shoulder. It's just the the the, the, the hand itself. From the
Wrist.
what is it, the wrist, not the
Mm.
wrist, from the elbow
Elbow.
to
Uh-huh.
the fingers, and then from the upper knee right down to the toes.
And then from the knee
Just
to your
have this
toes.
right,
Right.
and
Mm.
it's
Now, I
all of
noticed
them.
you say from the elbow to the fingers. Is that the direction in which you felt like the sensation change
The
occurred?
sensation is actually more focused in the fingers,
Okay.
both,
When you say it's,
and the in the feet,
I need to,
and even when I touch my feet, I feel slightly cold.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I need to just get back to the hands first because I'm gonna use your hands to try to figure out what's happening with your feet as well. When you say you feeling more in your fingers, what's that you feel in your fingers more? The numbness more, the burning more?
Numb, boring, yes.
So you have burning in your fingers. And does the burning feel like it's going up the arm, like it started out in the fingers? Does it feel like it's going up past the
Up
wrist
into the right,
and getting closer and closer to the elbow?
yes.
And then the same thing for the feet. It started in the
For the feet,
toes
yes,
and then it's getting closer and closer to your knees.
yes, yes, no.
All right. Now, it does sound like you have a peripheral neuropathy, and a good cause of that would be diabetes, but it's not just diabetes. Are you on any special restrictive diets?
No,
And it's just the diabetes is the only thing that they found was off with your executive
no,
profile.
that didn't. I, she didn't say I had diabetes because she said
The
if I did, she
pre-diabetic.
would have put me on medication. So
She
I'm
said you're
pre-diabetic,
pre-diabetic,
so I would have
right?
to.
The problem that I have is that you're having clear-cut sensory neuropathy, or not sensory, but peripheral neuropathy. Do you find that the skin on your feet and your hands like it's changing as well? It's getting rougher,
No,
and you're not losing hair on your feet,
no,
and it's not getting shinier.
no.
All right. Um, very tricky because now I'm gonna have to try to figure out because normally if it's diabetes, it will go from the fingers and work its way up toward the body, but starts on the fingers. It's called a glove and stocking distribution, which means that the same way you'll put on a glove is the same way that the sensation change occurred, starting at the fingers and work its way up towards the wrist. And the same thing for the feet, like you put it on stockings or put it on socks. It starts at your feet, at the toes, and then it works its way up towards your ankles and up the leg. But the way you're describing it, though, is that you're saying for the entire arm and leg.
Right. She
So-
she gave me she gave me something to an MRI to see because she said she's not sure as to what's causing it because I'm not diabetic. I just have
Right. So what I'm gonna suggest that you do, I'm gonna encourage you to do, is actually ask her if she wouldn't mind referring you to an endocrinologist and have a full endocrine panel workup done, where they're looking at not just for diabetes but anything else that could be affecting your systemic, your system. So that's what I would suggest that you do, not just to do an MRI here to see if there's an explanation, because the reality is that it's very difficult for any structural issue that you can find on an MRI to cause both hands in the way that you've described it and both feet in the way that you've described it to all happen close to the same time. Usually,
no.
exactly. So usually it's a very one-sided issue. If it's a nerve-related issue from the spinal cord or from the spine, which is what the MRI will show. But because yours is both sides and it's similar, and it started similar to each other, and it's ascending, meaning that it's going from the fingers toward the elbows or toward the knees from the toes. I'm not thinking a spinal issue. So I would encourage you to actually go to an endocrinologist or have your doctor refer you to an endocrinologist just to have a full evaluation done to see if there's anything else that's off, whether it is thyroid or any toxic issues or anything else.
Because even now they feel clammy, cold and
Right. Yeah, that would be my recommendation, without having a full examination of you. But based on what you have shared, it might be beneficial to you to have another set of professional eyes looking at it. And the way it sounds to me, a good starting point would be an endocrinologist. And there are different ones in Jamaica. You can always come to me, but I'm not an endocrinologist. But okay, so if you were to come to me, my goal would be to try to confirm whether you need an endocrinologist or not. But I would suggest that you actually try to get the referral from now so that you can start that investigation. So if they say everything seems fine, then it might be spinal, then, because I don't want you just spending a lot of money for spending money's sake,
Right.
So that's what I would suggest first. So
Okay.
try that speak to your doctor, ask for that referral if possible, or if she thinks it's a good idea for you to see an endocrinologist, and if that's the case, then you can get that referral and then start that investigation, and if you still so desire, you can always make an appointment to see us.
Okay. So at the end of the program, you'll give your contact information.
Sure.
Right?
I'll make sure that we pass out our information towards the end of the show. So keep listening.
Also, I will send it to you via WhatsApp, Sir A.
Thank you.
Oh, so he sent his information already?
Yes, I'm seeing it now.
All right, great. So we'll just reply to you via WhatsApp as well.
All right. Thank you, Doc.
Great.
All right.
Have a wonderful night. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Okay, great call. They're coming out of Portmore. We are discussing sensory neuropathy this evening on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. When we come back from the break, we'll continue our discussion. So please stay tuned.
Fast money, no stress. That's Jamdex. No cash, no problem. The time by Jamdex is...
It is now 8:30.
The new Jamaica Gleaner website delivers a faster, cleaner, more user-friendly experience. Built on the trusted journalism that has informed Jamaica for generations. Experience clearer pages, faster load times, and smarter ad positioning to make your ads more impactful. Designed across every device for how Jamaicans read today. New experience, powered by trusted journalism. Subscribe to Jamaica-Gleaner.com and experience the most trusted name in news online.
So, what happens when discipline turns into double punishment? On the next episode of Balancing Justice, we examine the eyebrow-raising case of a woman constable where the Supreme Court, in a judicial review application, ruled that she was unlawfully punished twice over a TikTok video in which she had apparently appeared. First came an extraordinary 6-month confinement at the police training school. Then, as if that were not enough, she also lost 1 day's pay. Too much? Unfair? Unlawful? The court certainly had strong views. But the bigger questions go far beyond one police officer and one video. Is appearing in a TikTok clip really so serious? Can your employer discipline you for what you do in your spare time? And when does workplace discipline cross the line into abuse of power? Balancing Justice host Andre Earl KC unpacks law, fairness, authority, and punishment with attorneys at law Matthew Hyatt and Jabari Phillips on Tuesday, March 10 at 9 p.m. right here on Radio Jamaica 94 FM. Tune in to Balancing Justice on Tuesday, where we break down barriers to understanding justice and bring the law within your reach. Balancing Justice is brought to you by Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Get ready to move with purpose. The CB Group UE5K and Run with Passion Kids K are back, and it's our 14th year of running for change. Your steps have powered scholarships for hundreds of deserving UE students. This year, we're going even further, supporting student welfare at the UE Western Campus for those impacted by Hurricane Melissa. So lace up and join us on Sunday, March 22 at 6:30 a.m. at UE Mona. Let's run for dreams, hope, and for a brighter future. Register now at runningeventsja.com because every step counts.
Your health deserves the very best care, and at Apex Radiology, we deliver just that. From MRIs, mammograms, and CT scans to interventional studies, nuclear medicine, and much more. We're here to give you accurate answers with compassion. Whatever the test, Apex Radiology makes the process simple, professional, and comfortable. Take charge of your health today. Call us at 876-929-APEX to book your appointment. Apex Radiology, the clear choice for your diagnostic needs.
You're listening to Back to Health, brought to you by Gardner Chiropractic and Neurology. Your health is in good hands. And Apex Radiology, the clear choice for all your diagnostic needs. Once again, let's rejoin Dr. Neil Gardner and Mrs. G.
Welcome back, listeners, to the program. We're discussing sensory neuropathy this evening on Back to Health. And Doc, there is a caller on the line. Good evening. You're on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. Hello, good evening. You may have waited quite a bit. Let me share our telephone numbers with you. 876-926-8631, 876-926-2178, or 876-926-7615. Those are the telephone numbers to call to join in our discussions this evening. Of course, our WhatsApp number is 876-553-5908. And there is a caller on the line. Good evening. You're on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner.
Good night, Doc.
Yes, your radio is on. We're going to ask that you turn off your radio so that we do not get this feedback in the studio.
Yes. Hi, Miss Brown.
Yes, Miss Brown.
Well, I'm having sensation of this.
Where are you calling from, Miss Brown?
In my left
Miss Brown?
foot.
Can you please say where you're calling
Down
from?
the side.
Miss Brown?
Like like I'm walking on things in my shoes, or if I walk barefoot, you feel like I'm walking on things, and it's cracked and very numb.
Question, Miss Brown. Are you hearing me?
Excuse me?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Where are you calling from?
I'm coming from St. Andrew.
St. Andrew.
Town.
Okay, welcome to
wonderful.
our show.
Welcome.
So when you're walking, you're having pins. What did you describe it as?
Go then, Doc.
Describe what you said again when you're walking.
As if I'm walking on, as you said, mud, mud in
Uh-huh.
the foot bottom,
Right.
and the left side, the left foot above the ankle. It touches a lot, come up to my knee, and sometimes my feet are swollen. Just the left foot.
So it's most of the left foot has a problem.
Yes, but I feel like it is take time going to the right foot in the bottom.
Right. So the generally is the left foot and ankle, but under the bottom of your right foot you're starting to feel some things as well. Is that what you're saying? Under the foot bottom, on the right foot you're starting to feel it a little bit too?
Yes.
All right. Now that what you've described sounds more like a spinal issue. It's likely to be a
Okay.
nerve issue from your spine. So have you been evaluated by your doctor?
No, not as yet.
All right, you have to get this examined, and so your doctor can guide you as to what steps to take. But you have to get this examined. All right, don't just let it get worse because, let us say it might only require chiropractic care or physiotherapy care right now. If you wait long enough, then it may require surgery. And if you wait long enough still, not even surgery might be able to help it. So you don't want to just let these things get from bad to worse.
Yes.
And your radio is still causing a little feedback for us. It's making it difficult for us to hear. So you have to turn it off or move away from it completely.
Okay, okay.
But I hope you understand. Get this thing properly evaluated as soon as you're able to. So you
I'm
can.
not hearing you so loudly.
All right, I'm saying get it checked out as quickly as you can
Okay.
so that we can find out how bad it is and what type of treatment is needed.
Yes. And where can I contact you, Peter?
All right, we'll give out our number as well. Just keep listening, and towards the end of the show, we will provide you our contact information.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Miss Brown.
Thank you very much.
You're
Yes,
very welcome.
thanks so much for
your
calling.
Yes, dear. Goodbye.
Call. Alrighty.
Okay. All right, Doc. Via WhatsApp. I have numbness on the outer side of my thigh. Sometimes it itches and the area is tender. Recently my lower leg itches badly at nights, and it's very annoying to this person, Doc.
Right. So, just having an itch doesn't say a whole lot.
And numbness on the outer side.
But with the numbness on the outer part of the thigh, we call the lateral thigh or the lateral femur. There's actually a nerve that controls sensations there. It's called the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve. That's a nerve that runs right underneath the inguinal ligament, and that's a ligament that runs from the ASIS to the pubic bone, and under that it's also called the Poupart ligament. It's that ligament can compress the nerve in a very similar way that the carpal tunnel can compress the median nerve, which is the nerve in the hand. So in that case, if you're having a compression of that nerve, you can have the numbness along the outer part of your thigh. So question is, what are some of the things that can cause compression of that nerve? One of the things is wearing a tight belt, often like people who are like electrical workers or people who do tool trade and they have their work belt around their waist and the weight of the belt compresses that area, or police officers who wear those thick combat belts, police or soldiers, or if people have big abdomens. It can happen during pregnancy. It can happen to people who have big bellies, that the weight of the bellies can cause compression of that nerve. So if you're having these kinds of issues, it might be because of one of those situations. So you want to make sure that you have it evaluated to find out, are you having compression of that nerve?
Okay.
Or it's called the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve.
All right, and there's a call on the line. Good evening, you're on Back to Health. It's Dr. Neil Gardner.
Good evening, Mrs. G.
Good evening, Donovan. How are you doing?
Yes, well.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I would like to join class now.
Yes, yes. Go right ahead with your comment.
Yes, no, doc, sense of touch is a part of the
Sensations?
Topic, sensation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, I'm going to join class with you now. Now, we have, say, we have 5 different nerve cells in the skin.
Okay.
5 different nerve cells in the skin, doc. And so, what we have in here is pain. With people, we have pain, no so? We're talking about pain too.
Yes, pain is one of the symptoms of sensory neuropathy.
Yes. So we have pain, so the skin carry.
You have a question,
5.
Donovan?
Yes.
You have a question for me?
Yes. So what
What's
I'm
your
going to
question?
ask, you're talking about the pain. So I'm asking now, like for instance, if the skin has anything to do with the neuropathy.
Okay, so I'll answer the question while if you want to stay on the line, you can stay on the line.
And I'm going to tell you that. You look at lettuce here. You can't do it, but you look at lettuce. It's for the nerve. Look at it when you finish. You can't. I'm going to hang up.
Sure, certainly.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
The question as to whether the skin has anything to do with sensory neuropathy, and most of the times you ask if something has anything to do with, it's a possibility question, and the answer is almost always going to be yes, because most of your sensations are actually appreciated at the level of the skin or just below the skin. So yes, you can have a nerve issue that affects sensations, and most of the sensations are appreciated through your skin. So yes, there's a relationship. However, the skin itself is not, the way it is arranged with the nerves and how they interact with each other, the skin will not cause nerve compression. Now you can have different things that impact you that can cause the compression of the nerves, but the skin isn't one of them normally. So I hope that is, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but I hope that helps. And I look at what you said about lettuce and its benefits for nerves.
Okay. All right, Doc. Here is Lady C out of St. James saying, I think I have sensory neuropathy. My feet are very slippery. They feel like boiled okra. This is after chemotherapy. It's more than 2 years now. Can it be corrected? And saying she was listening to that person, and she too, she's feeling a little numbness in her fingertips, almost unnoticeable, Doc. But it's nothing severe for the fingertips.
Well, very good, because I need to get to the causes here, because I've not been able to discuss causes at all. And just in under a minute, because we don't have much time left, the different causes for sensory neuropathy are as follows. Diabetes, which is something that the gentleman was investigating. Infections, certain viral infections or bacterial infections can lead to nerve damage. Alcohol abuse, overuse of alcoholic beverages or alcohol exposure can cause certain types of nutritional deficiencies, which these nutritional deficiencies include specific B vitamins that are very important for nerve health. And so if you lose those, your nerves can start to suffer. Autoimmune diseases, conditions like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and so on can affect nerve cells or the covering of the nerve cells. And last one that's very common is chemotherapy, which is one that you just mentioned.
Right.
So chemotherapy are drugs that are very harmful to the body and can damage the body in many different ways. And one of the cells that typically are vulnerable to the insult that chemotherapy can cause are nerve cells. Generally speaking, there's a rule of thumb that we usually work by, and that is to say, if after 1 year you've not had all your symptoms reversed to normal, or whatever changes have happened after 1 year, don't really expect much more to happen after that. And so you've had yours for 2 years now. It is very likely that it's not going to get much better since the 2 years have now passed. If nerves are going to regenerate, they usually regenerate within that 1 year time. So chances are it might not regenerate again. So I don't want to proclaim a curse upon you as to what will or will not happen, but just so that you have an understanding that generally we usually use a 1 year window as the marker to say whether we can expect more changes, yes or no.
Okay. Sensory neuropathy is what we're discussing this evening on Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. When we come back from a break, we will head into treatment options and prevention strategies, so please stay tuned.
Make your impact on the world anywhere you are. Walden University offers students degree programs to help you achieve your goals and bring about social change in your community. Like 2024 graduate in Business Administration, Samantha Powell.
I would definitely recommend Walden. The program, the classes, the people I've met helped, the knowledge that I've gained, and has helped me grow into the person that I am confidently today.
Walden University. Set a course for change.
Beginning Monday, March 16, the Back to the Bible broadcast will be aired on Radio Jamaica 94 FM weekdays from 4:30 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Moving you forward in your relationship with Jesus Christ. That's what Back to the Bible is all about. Discover truth, wisdom, and direction for your life.
That's the Back to the Bible broadcast on Radio Jamaica 94 FM weekdays at 4:30 a.m.
Looking for cutting-edge technology that's shaping the future of motor control? Visit Denron the Motorman. From electric motors, VFDs, and self-starters to pumps, conveyor systems, and gearboxes, we have everything you need. Engineers, technicians, industrial systems enthusiasts, visit 50 Caledonia Road, Mandeville, or 11 Eastwood Avenue, Kingston. Call 961-2472 or 631-2472. Denron Engineering Services Limited. Denron the Motorman, Jamaica's authorized dealer for WEG motors and controls.
You've heard the rumors. Now, hear the truth. Radio Jamaica 94 FM is changing. We're evolving with one reimagined vision to serve you better. We're bringing you more programs and personalities. We're diversifying, improving our coverage, and building our digital presence. So stay with us. This is Radio Jamaica 94 FM, active for the good of our nation.
Welcome back, listeners, to Back to Health with Dr. Neil Gardner. I'm your co-host, Carolyn Gardner. We're discussing sensory neuropathy this evening on Back to Health. Doc, a question coming to you from Facebook from Lady D. I'm experiencing a burning sensation just at the location of my right kidney in the back. What could be the possible cause?
Not enough information. So she needs to go and get this thing checked out.
Okay.
Have a proper examination done so that the doctor can determine if there's anything going on with the kidney or any of the other areas around. It might not have anything to do with the kidney, but it might. So, and there are lab work that can be done, blood work, as well as a urinalysis that can be done to determine whether or not the kidneys are operating normally. And if they are, then they can go through their list of differential diagnoses.
So additional information needed, Lady D, and of course, as Doc is saying, get it evaluated.
Yeah, properly.
All right. Okay, so Doc, via WhatsApp, I'm having tenderness and numbness in my right middle finger, especially if I'm laying down, even if I'm laying on my hands throughout the day. And worse at nights, I also realized that while writing at work today, my hand became numb, especially the same middle finger. I'm right-handed, so the numbness started from finger point up to shoulder or opposite. I'm currently on, what is this? She named 2 drugs that she's on, Doc.
And what are the drugs for? What are the drugs that she's on?
Let me see, Norgestics and what's it?
Norgesic and
and Maxiclan or something like that. Maxiclan is how it is spelled here.
I'm not sure of that one.
Okay.
But it sounds like they're giving something to try to alleviate nerve type pain. But rather than simply just doing something to mask the pain. I'd rather she finds out what's causing the pain.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say to you is that if your middle finger is affected, it almost is going to be one nerve that's affected primarily. It's the C7 nerve root. The C7 nerve root is a nerve that exits at the base of your neck. That is where the root of the neck meets with their shoulders, what we call shoulders, but their trapezius muscles.
Mm-hmm.
It's at that point where that nerve exits. Now, that nerve is the only nerve that controls the middle finger. That nerve also controls the triceps, which is the muscle in the back of your arm. So you'll find that persons who have a difficulty pushing a door open, or they're finding that their ability to push something away is getting weaker, or if they're lying down in bed and they want to push themselves up, they're having a little bit more difficulty, as well as a numbness in the finger. These are sometimes also in being able to squeeze your fingers together or open them, separate them apart. These are also involved in that kind of a function. It's also important to look at the back of your hand as well and make sure that the muscles in the back of your hand are normal and plumpish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have any sink in the back of your hand where you used to have muscles. So you have to look carefully at the back of your hand and see if you're having any wasting of any of the muscles in the back of your hands especially. You can turn your hand over and look at the meaty part under your little finger. That's towards the base of your palm, toward the bottom of your palm, not by the finger itself, but away from the finger towards the base of the palm. The meaty part there, and or the meaty part on the base of the thumb. Those are called your eminences, your thenar and hypothenar eminences. Those are the meaty parts in your palm. If you're losing size in those as well, it should be meaty. If you're finding that they're getting flattened, that might be problematic for you as well. So look carefully at those areas. See if you're seeing changes in those areas. See if you're having weakness in pushing up off the bed or pushing a door, like if a heavy door is there, you want to push it open. You find that you have, instead of using your hands, you have to turn and use your body to push it. Those are important things to pay attention to, because if these are happening, it suggests that you're having what's called a neuropathy, specifically if it's just that one nerve. If it's more than one nerve affected, it's called a polyneuropathy. So we want to find out if that is happening, and if that is the case, you need to get that addressed as quickly as possible. Medication, I think, is one of the worst things to do for issues like these, because unfortunately the medications are effective to reduce the pain, and if you reduce the pain without solving the problem, eventually there will come a time when the medication will no longer reduce the pain and your problem will have been far worse. So I'd rather we investigate figuring out what's causing the problem, what's needed to do to fix it, and to address it, rather than simply taking a medication to mask the pain.
Okay.
But that's my personal opinion.
All right. Question coming to you, or point coming to you here, Doc, for comment out of Maryland. I have been experiencing cold fingers and toes. Noticed it first during winter. It was painful. I also noticed pale nail beds. Recently, my palms became flushed red.
Right. So that's an what we call an autonomic issue, because circulation is being impacted in this way, and oftentimes it's a matter of regulating the proper mechanisms for controlling hot and cold in the body. If this is happening, and it's oftentimes associated with the I'm losing my train of thought here real quickly, but these changes are associated with your autonomic nerves. These are the nerves that control blood vessels, organs, and glands. And so if these are impacted, then it will affect the ability of the person to be able to regulate, especially during the cold. So we need to get this checked out.
Doc, I know that you need to get into to some solutions, but are swelling from the knee down and blackening color of the skin associated with neuropathy. This person's swelling would disappear when they retire to bed, but would reappear about 9:30 in the morning.
Right. So the short answer is yes. You can have circulatory issues as a consequence of a nerve issue. Remember, we talked about 3 types of nerves. One that controls muscle activity, those are your motor nerves. The ones that we're discussing tonight are the ones that control sensations, those are your sensory nerves. But then the ones that you're describing are called the autonomic nerves. They control blood vessels, organs, and glands. And so if you're finding that you're having a darkening of your skin, swelling in the area, as well as changes in hair growth, the shininess of the skin, the smoothness of the skin, those are all what we call trophic changes in the skin. That's as a result of poor circulating blood. The circulation issue is not necessarily a primary circulatory issue, meaning that it's not coming directly from a from a circulation problem, but it can be coming from a nerve problem. So the nerve issue can be what's causing your circulatory issue. And so the treatment for this cannot be a circulatory drug. The treatment has to be addressing the nerve issue so that the autonomic nerves will go back to normal, and then the blood vessels, organs, and glands will start to do what they're designed to do normally.
And Doc, in terms of solutions, treatment options, or prevention strategies?
Right. So as I had alluded to before, if you catch these things early enough, physiotherapy can be a good alternative for you. That's non-medicinal. Chiropractic can be a good alternative for you. That's non-medicinal. Acupuncture can be a good treatment. That's non-medicinal. But the problem is, if these neuropathy changes or neuropathic changes are as a result of a compression, then you have to find a way to reduce the compression. Otherwise, the problem will continue to persist. So just doing exercises might not be adequate, although some exercises can alleviate the compression. Chiropractic can alleviate the compression sometimes, and sometimes even acupuncture can reduce the, I don't want to say enlargement. They can reduce some of the enlargement in an area, reducing the compression in the area. If these are early enough, then great. If not, then you may need something medicinal. And the sequence of events I would suggest for medicinal intervention for these types of issues will first be oral medication before you do intravenous or local injections, before you do surgeries.
Okay.
Now, that is provided that the person is suffering and needs immediate relief. In terms of the order of importance, though, the order of importance for me would be this: physiotherapy and chiropractic as earliest options. Then we're talking about other types of soft tissue treatments. Then we're looking at, if those are not working and acupuncture and those things are not working, then we're looking at just to manage the issues using oral medication, and then now we're talking about surgeries before any injection into the joints.
Okay. And the telephone number is 876-978-1050. That's 876-978-1050. Join Dr. Neil Gardner on Back to Health, the show that guides you back to good health. Next Tuesday, March 17 at 8 p.m. right here on Radio Jamaica 94 FM.